不论是手上的 iPhone 还是很多生活用品，未来都可能再涨价，不只是因为整个通膨，而是跟中国大陆有关。
Consequently, your prices of your iPhones, the prices of your cars, and many of these things are going to rise. And so the global consumer is going to feel what's happening. So what's happening in the bedrooms in China is actually affecting what's happening in the rest of the world.
专家话说得很玄，其实原因就是中国大陆的人口从1961年以来首度下降，开始出现倒退路的情况。
China's population has declined for the first time in more than 60 years. According to numbers released Tuesday by China's National Bureau of Statistics, the population in 2022 was just over 1.4 billion, a drop of 850,000 from a year prior.
So the recent news that Chinese population has declined for the first time in decades, in many ways is a big deal because it marks the end of this era of rapid growth and of cheap labor.
虽然目前中国大陆人口还是超过14亿，等于全球每5个人就有1个来自中国大陆。这样大量的人力让中国大陆迅速成为世界工厂，但独特的生育计划却打乱了世界工厂的发展。
Many couples therefore chose to only have a son when restricted to just a one-child household. So consequently, after 30-something years, what you do have is a huge situation of missing women and surplus bachelors, something like 30 million surplus men who cannot find brides. That obviously has a lot of consequences for how do you make future babies for China, right? No women, that's a big problem. It caused the population to become too male, too old, and too few.
但专家也认为，中国大陆人口减少的问题并不只是生育政策造成。长期在中国大陆采访，曾经拿过普利兹奖的记者方凤美就直言，就算一胎化政策松绑，整个经济环境也不利于生育。
So from the domestic perspective, the real estate market, which was booming for the last 30 years, your first generation of homeowners coming in, is now stalled, partly as a result of COVID, but also partly as a result of a housing crisis, and also partly because of the population growth slowing down. That's a long-term economic outlook that it's not helpful.
而且人口减少并不只是人力不足的问题，还有人口老化会加重经济负担。
The aging population can make the government spend a lot of money on the welfare expenditure, right? They pay more money for the social securities, Medicaid, Medicare, and etc. And also, population shrinks. That means taxpayers shrinks. So lower amount of taxpayers indicate a lower tax revenue and then higher government expenditure. So the government budget deficit will be the result.
而这样的人口变化影响到制造业、供应链，还会进一步冲击到全球的经济。
Unlimited supply of cheap labor from rural China is the engine of China's exports. Now, if you switch that off, China's cheap labor-based manufacturers will soon kind of a decline, and this will cause some kind of famine in goods. Certain things you can get very cheaply, not anymore.
有国家人口放缓，就有国家后来居上。印度就超越中国大陆，成为全球人口最多的国家，而且劳动人口就占了将近70%。专家看好印度成为下一个世界工厂。印度总理莫迪也抓住人口红利优势，强打印度制造，想推升经济。但也有专家认为，并没有想象中容易。
Just because you have plenty of young workers doesn't mean you have the roads or the factories or the financing or the logistics to take advantage of all those things and really make it come together. So yeah, there's not that expectation at all.
中国大陆掌握的不只是人力资源，整个产业链都已经相当成熟。印度想一直取代中国大陆在供应链的地位，其实并不容易。因此研判未来大量中国大陆生产的商品价格都将因此攀升。也有专家预估，为了因应这样的情况，中国大陆可能开放海外廉价人力输入，来保持世界工厂的地位。TVBS新闻综合报道。